Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Today I wanted to do a little sort of review, first thoughts of this DeMellier Lausanne bag. I got this very recently and I got to use it yesterday for the first time. And of course I'm very excited and I want to share my thoughts about this bag. So I will take you through the exterior and the dimensions, weight, that kind of stuff. The interior, we'll talk about the strap. Rather than a what fits in my bag, I will do just a what is in my bag, and I will take out the stuff that I took with me yesterday when I went shopping. I'll touch upon some first pros and cons that I can think of, and my initial and most likely somewhat biased recommendation about whether you should get this bag, yes or no. As I already said, this bag is from DeMellier. It is a UK-based brand. DeMellier has been founded in 2016, so they haven't been around for very long, but I feel like they've been doing quite well, although they're not all too popular yet. So DeMellier is one of those brands, kind of in the style of like a Pollen, I would say, in terms of just being very low-key, having a sort of classic elegance to the bags that they make, without their bags being very obvious classics. So where I would say that Pollen is a brand that goes for more organic shapes, DeMellier will usually go a bit more structured and a bit more angular, a bit more hardware. So they're not exactly the same, but in terms of price point, for example, and a little bit in terms of the sort of style of the independent woman that they want to convey in their bags, I think they have some sort of likeness to them. All of their bags, as far as I can tell thus far, are named after cities. For example, they have the Montreal and the Vancouver, and this is the Lausanne. Lausanne is a place in Switzerland. As I was already saying, most of DeMellier's bags are a bit more angular and structured. This is still quite a structured bag, but this has a lot of curve to it. So I think the Lausanne is perhaps a bit of the odd one out in the collection that they currently have. And that is perhaps also the reason why I found this quite attractive, because I'm not just interested usually in any other flat bag, but I do get very interested when I see sort of these interesting curves, and this is a bit more of a saddle bag style, I suppose. It comes with this black dust bag, quite nice thick ribbon, but overall nothing too fancy, just the type of dust bag that I would expect with a brand like this. But yeah, the exterior. So this is the Lausanne in the regular size. I think they also have a size down, which is the mini. This is made of a ethically sourced small grained cowhide leather with a subtle shine to it. So initially when I got this bag, I was kind of wondering like whether this had been embossed, but it appears to be just the grained cowhide. It is really quite thick, and in that sense it does feel quite luxurious, but it also feels very structured, perhaps more structured than I would usually expect out of a leather. As you can see, it comes with this gold hardware and it has the little DeMellier London logo at the front, but overall it's very low-key. So the dimensions of this bag are as follows. The width, sort of the widest point of the bag, is 25 centimeters or 10 inches. The height is 19.5 centimeters or 7.6 inches, and the depth of this bag is 8 centimeters or 3.1 inches. So what is a very interesting design element of this bag is the strap that is on here. We'll get to the actual strap in a little bit, but it has these loops attached, and to the loops there is a strap attached, and to that strap the longer strap is attached, if that makes sense. Well, I'll get back to that in a moment. It is a flat bag. It has this kiss lock closure, I suppose you can call it. It is very shiny to the extent that you will be polishing it and the hardware will kind of scratch as you breathe on it, but it is very easy to open and also not all that hard to close, because this top part fully covers the bottom part that it's closing into. Yes, the bottom part will scratch, but that's not something that you will see. So on the side of the bag, the strap goes down all the way, and depending on how long you will wear the strap, you will actually have pieces of strap hanging down from under it. Then we have the back. This is very simple. There's no back pocket, and then on the other side it is the same thing. The weight of this bag comes in at 600 grams, which is 1.3 pounds, which I don't think is a very bad weight for this kind of bag. The bottom of this bag, by the way, has no feet. It is sort of a rounded bag, but the base is flat enough, so to say, that your bag will not roll or topple over. Then moving on to the strap, as I already said, there's this back part and then the longer strap attaches to that, and depending on how long you want to wear it, you just kind of pull it through the straps that you have, well, over here and over here attached to the strap, and then over here and over here attached to the bag. The drop of this strap is between 39 and 63 centimeters, which is 15.4 inches and 24.8 inches, so you do have a lot of length to work with, and you could very easily wear this both as a shoulder bag or as a crossbody bag. As a crossbody bag, this would really work on anybody because you do really have quite a number of settings. So I still have like 3 holes until the end, so I can make this 3 holes longer still. This works for me as a crossbody perfectly fine, and I'll insert a mod shot obviously, but I'm about 1.70 m or 5'5". I'm usually a size large, so you can either make this really long or really short. The problem, or if you consider it to be a problem, you could also see it as a design feature, but the straps that will come down from under this bag will get very long, obviously, the shorter you make this bag. So that might be something to consider. The strap, by the way, is super flexible. It is really smooth and it just feels really nice. Like, it feels flexible, but it doesn't feel flimsy, right? It still feels very, very durable, and it's just very nice leather. So how you make the strap longer or shorter is with these metal pins. I never really quite like this mechanism because the holes are never really big enough. So this hole was being used when I got the bag, and you can see that just the leather over here has been, well, not really damaged, but it's just folding up a little bit. So I'm quite good with having this mechanism, but only on bags where the holes are really also big enough to allow for this. I think just in this way, because you do have to adjust it on 4 points, I think it's really not all that easy to adjust. So I would either go for wearing this as a shoulder bag or as a crossbody bag, but just putting it on a setting once, and then I wouldn't really go forth and mess with the settings all that much again, because it's quite a hassle. Rather than talking about the interior first, I'm going to talk about what is in my bag, because I actually have my stuff from yesterday still in my bag, and once I've taken that all out, I will talk a little bit more about the interior. So as I already said, it's really easy to open this bag up, and that is very nice. As you can already see, the mouth of this bag is really a lot narrower than the full width of this bag, so that's something to take into account. So what I had in here yesterday was my Ray-Ban sunglasses. I had a little foldable canvas bag. I had a tiny water bottle. Look at how cute this is. Granola bar, just to make sure I didn't get hangry. Then my phone. This bag will easily fit a full-size phone. It doesn't really matter what size phone you have. And then of course my pouch that has all of my essentials, like my card holder, my keys, my headphones, all that kind of stuff. So this was all the stuff that was in here, and I still had a little bit of space left. But then to also discuss some things that I would usually put in bags for comparison. So this is a full-size water bottle, or reasonably large water bottle that actually does fit. That's quite nice, but it does of course take up a lot of space, and it doesn't really go to the bottom of the bag all the way. It sort of gets stuck on where the bag is the widest. I guess you could technically take it, but also because the opening of the bag is so narrow, you would really have to shimmy it in and out of the bag, and that wouldn't really leave a lot of space for other stuff in your bag. And a full-size wallet, yeah, that's also a case of if you force it in there, yes, it will technically fit. Is this going to be convenient? Not very much so. So I would go for a compact wallet or for a card holder. Notebook, that's just not going to fit. A5 notebook is a no for this bag. Overall, I would just not really recommend putting bigger items in there, because yes, they might technically fit, but you will end up doing a lot of shimmying, and it's just not going to be very convenient for this bag because the opening is quite narrow. Okay, then moving on to the inside, and I'm just going to grab my flashlight. It has a black cotton interior lining, so that's quite nice, doesn't get dirty. As you can see over here, there is a zippered compartment over the full width of the bag. I have this cue card of the bag over here. This is the Lausanne in color tan in the small grain leather. They also have this bag, I think, in like a mock croc, for example. So there are a number of options, and of course this bag also comes in a number of colors, but DeMellier, again, quite similarly to Polen in that sense, they tend to go more for neutrals, so browns, blacks, beige, gray. Overall very pretty colors, but if you really like very colorful bags, then DeMellier might not really be the brand for you. On the other end, there's a slip pocket that also goes across the full width of the bag. It really makes it difficult to demonstrate everything because the mouth is so narrow, but yeah, overall nice dark interior fabric lining, and it does have some organization to it, although it mostly just has this one big main compartment. But if you do want to have a place where you can put, for example, your card holder, you can put it in the pocket in the back or in the pocket in the front. So for me, because this does fit my essentials pouch and a pair of sunglasses and a little water bottle and a canvas bag, for example. And it's just a very comfortable crossbody bag, although it is of course a bit structured, so it's going to be a bit less comfortable than an unstructured bag. But overall a very comfortable option to take out for a day of shopping with this type of leather, because it does seem to have a little bit of treatment to it. I'm also not that scared of it getting a little bit wet, but luckily yesterday it was beautiful. Alright, then on to the pros and cons. Pros of this bag, well, I think just overall DeMellier could be quite an interesting brand for a number of people. So if you're also interested in brands like Wandler, Polen, the more understated, classic with a twist type of bags, colors that are mostly neutrals, this could be an interesting brand to look into. And I do really also like the design of this bag. I feel like it is quite a bit different than most of the DeMellier bags. It wears super comfortably. The strap is just really nice and flexible, and it does have a lot of settings to it. So this is a bag that should, I suppose, technically work for pretty much everyone. The only con possibly being that the straps will stick out of the bag quite a bit the shorter you actually make it. So personally, I kind of wish that the default setting was just already a bit shorter, so I wouldn't have all of this leather sticking out from the bag. I'm trying to appreciate it as a design element. It has a nice capacity to it. It feels very, very durable, and the craftsmanship overall on this bag is just really, really nice. This is still one of those brands where for a very reasonable price you can get a really decent piece of craftsmanship, and also just ethically sourced leather, certified tanneries, that kind of stuff. I really like how easy this opening and closing mechanism is. The downside being that the hardware is quite big. It's also quite shiny, and because of that you will be polishing it all day long. But at least the upside is that this piece, which is the piece that will most likely suffer most of the scratching, that is not something that you're going to see. It's also just very low-key and super, super elegant. The downsides thus far are what you may consider annoying, is that the opening of the bag is just a lot more narrow than the base of the bag. So if you work with bigger items, you would kind of have to shimmy them in. It's not going to decently fit a full-size wallet just because the mouth of the bag is so narrow. When it comes to the strap, it is very, very adjustable. It does have a lot of settings, but the way that this strap is constructed, personally I will just leave it in one setting because I don't want to have to mess around with removing the strap and placing the strap back on 4 of these knots. Personally, I also would have liked if the strap was fully detachable, so you can take off the long part, but you can never take off this shorter part that is over here. Let me just show you, but that is really just sewn to this loop that is on the side of the bag. If the strap was fully removable, that would of course make it a lot easier to replace it, or then at least you could replace it, but that would also make it easier to store. This strap is sort of flexible enough to store it in the bag, but because the flap is quite tightly closing upon the bag, you wouldn't be able to close the flap. So this is, well, probably once again a bag that I would hang. So would I recommend this bag? From a practical perspective, perhaps even not so much. I've gone through bags that have a lot more versatility to them, that are perhaps less annoying to use bags that have detachable straps. In that sense, this is just a bag that you can wear on the shoulder or crossbody, and because it's not very easily adjustable in length, I will most likely just go for one of the two. But is this bag beautiful? Yes. Is this bag interesting? Yes. Is this bag comfortable? Yes. If you like the style, and if you are somebody that will typically just wear a bag crossbody, for example, then this could be a very good option. I do think you're getting a beautiful bag, and I haven't even discussed this, but I got it for a very reasonable price because Farfetch made a little boo-boo again, so they were giving 20% off full priced items, only this bag. It was already priced at a discount but appeared to be at retail price, and then again I got 20% off. DeMellier will be part of promotions, but I haven't been finding a lot of sale options yet. I haven't been following their prices for all too long, but overall their bags are already not too expensive, so to say. So if you just want to have a beautiful piece from a not overly popular brand, it's definitely one that you can look into. That's it for today. Hope you found it useful and or enjoyable. If you have any questions for me, drop them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. Remember, for now, there's a styling, a situation, and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!